Hello, everyone. This is Raul Velasquez with the Spartan Group, and I'm very excited to be living a vision that I had seen many years ago. I had the opportunity to have my brother, my business partner, somebody I hold in a very high regard, Mr. Jason Tisdale, flew in from California. This is getting filmed in Illinois. And what we're going to talk about today is our organization that we've built out over the last handful of years. Jason and I have known each other for almost 15 years now. Had the opportunity to be vice presidents of a company together where we were not partnered, saw each other grow up through the ranks, hit the top 1% of that company, and the last handful of years have been able to merge together our skill sets and build out a massive organization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to segue into the industry that we're in, and the reason why it's such an honor to have my brother, Mr. Jason Tisdale, here is because of the level that he's at in the industry of solar. So when you think of the top 1% in anything, you know that they're elite. Well, this gentleman is the best of the best. I call him the Michael Jordan of this specific industry. And he could not be more humble. It actually took years to get him to agree to finally do a podcast because he's just not the type of person to be braggadocious in any way, shape, or form. But I believe he has so much value. So many people can learn so much of what he's been able to create for himself and his beautiful family that I wanted to make it a point to create something like this, a channel that other people can get value from all the knowledge he's acquired over the years. So I'm going to have him touch on why we got involved in the industry of solar. And just to give you some stats on him, he has closed over 1,000 personal deals, not including what the team has done, including a record-breaking 500 plus in 1 year. So if you're not familiar with the industry, that is unheard of. So this is a literal legend when it comes to the space that we're in. And I'm super excited, not about where we're at, but about where we're going. Because many people, they say that they're good. They're good from afar, but they're far from good. This is the best in the world specific to what we do. My brother, Mr. Jason Tisdale.
Let's go. Hey, glad to be here. First thing, out here in Chicago, it's currently thunderstorming and raining in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
You said that's...
Had to leave Orange County.
Yeah. But, man, I'm fired up to be here. This has been a long time coming for sure.
Yeah.
And just to back up how we've known each other, we just said it's going on almost a decade and a half, 15 years. Crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. It's great making money. It's great having a great culture, but it's also even more rewarding to do it with brothers, people that are loyal and a good group. So couldn't be more fired up to obviously work with you, and what we've created has been amazing. So I guess for those of you tuning in, this is our first official TSG, the Spartan Group podcast that we've done. I know we hopped on one before as like guest speakers. This is exciting. So this is the first of many that will, be happening here throughout the next few years, and excited to see where that's going to go. I guess we could start off with the background of TSG, how we started it. Raul kind of touched on our background on where we're from. From an early age, 18 years old, Raul and I were in the same company and rose through the ranks. I was a vice president there 6 years in at the age of 24, and then. It was about 4 years ago now. Things in the industry were just different, the pandemic and all that. And we had a mutual friend who started in solar out in Texas. And, this guy, he wasn't like a rock star in our previous company. But in solar, he was claiming to making 20 grand, 30 grand a month. And I remember us talking out in Tahoe, actually.
Yeah.
Where we're like, man, if this guy's actually making 20 grand, 30 grand a month, we're going to make millions. So, we reached out and, got started in the space. And I think we have a really interesting, special, unique way that TSG was started because, with our background, we could have just said, hey, we're selling this now. Come over here and sell with us. But we understood it's a new industry. And I put the ego to the side and said, I'll be a sales rep. And I'll go through the trenches and learn this. And that's really where the Spartan Group was created. Not from a place of, hey, let me sit behind a desk, crack a whip, tell you to go sell, but let me go lead from the front and sell. And so that's what I did. So to give you guys that quick timeline, 4 years ago, started as a sales rep, kind of undercover. Nobody in our network knew, and went out and sold deals, and it was life-changing, literally life-changing. 6 accounts my first couple days, and I still remember adding up the commissions, being like, I'm going to make over 20 grand. And then I saw the paycheck, and I still didn't believe it. And then it hit the bank account, and I still didn't believe it. And then I went to the bank, and then I believed it. And I said, man, this is just the beginning. And yeah, it's been a crazy journey. But I took that whole first year, we sold, you remember, we sold, and we didn't tell anybody about the space just so we could learn it. And so, I did that out in California. And then we decided just a little over 2 years ago now that we were going to open this up to our network and bring some of our, loyal people that have sold with us in other industries. And so that's where TSG started. And it's been amazing. So just to touch on then year 2, it was, you know what, let's lead by example again and be the standard. And that's where I went out and did those 500 accounts in a year, with different mechanisms. Because we've talked about in solar, it's, majority of people are door knocking, right?
For sure.
So, I went out, did it, we had some door knock deals, but most of it from the mechanisms of our previous industry with strategic partners and referrals and going through networks and business owners and things like that. And it's been amazing. Fast forward to now, I think I have done about over 1,000 accounts personally, but what's more exciting is our group now has done, I think, just north of 5,000 accounts TSG has done in the past couple of years. So
Yeah.
obviously that's going to be more. We have a vision this year to do thousands this year, but it's been great. What's been going on?
Yeah. So just some of the things you touched on right now, because it's easy to fast forward like, hey, just last 2 years, no big deal. But to give a little bit of substance in terms of how many flights would you say the expansion of the overall team? Because as of now, you can name the different states and the organizations that we have and how many flights were required to be able to expand into all those markets to establish the leadership that we do have in the multiple markets that we're in. The sacrifice that has to be made just on that front, being away. I know you have a beautiful wife, 3 beautiful kids. Congrats on the brand new baby boy.
Let's go.
Super fired up. But yeah, so that being said, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And then you're out there closing 500 plus deals on top of building out the organization, catching all the So I just don't want people to miss like the sacrifice required to get to where you're at. It wasn't like, overnight.
Yeah. It's a lot more painful when you're going through it. When you look back, you're like, oh, no big deal. It was nothing. But you're right. I think, and I don't know the exact number. I think we've thrown around a few different numbers, but like flights 2 years ago. So to fast forward today, we have, leaders in Florida, Texas, Illinois, California, Arizona. But we went to all those markets before, like to help enroll that group and build the group. And I know it was over 50 flights in a year for sure. If you count like there and back, probably 100 flights. I think we were gone more than we were home. And it's fun, the cliche saying, when you're having fun working, you're not really working.
Yeah.
So it was great. Like I think TSG, a part that I love about it, I know you do too, is the brotherhood or sisterhood with the women leaders, but like getting to meet great people and being aligned. And we were talking about this earlier, like growth equals happiness. And being able to get people in an ecosystem where they're happy because they're growing and we're growing and that vision. But yeah, it was no small feat. We for sure were traveling, getting all those people onboarded. So yeah, it was tricky dropping those deals and building this organization. But again, I feel like that's our secret sauce because there's a saying, if you need them, you can't lead them. 100%. And what we've done is we show people our value through our results. And so the recruiting is organic. Like we go out and we just show the track record and people sign up instead of others I see in the industry, they'll, and not to say that it's wrong, but like they'll give money, right? Like, oh, this is our value that we'll bring to you. We'll give you 50 grand. Oh, we'll give you this. Oh, our pay scales are better. We never done that. We've never recruited that way. It's always been like, this is our vision. This is where we're going. This is what we've done. And you can be a part of it or you can get steamrolled. Like this is just what we do. But I feel like, back to the point, those 500 accounts simultaneously while recruiting helped the recruiting because we were just red zoned in it, right? We were dialed in, like dropping these accounts. So we'd go travel. I remember we went to actually Illinois here and we had one day we dropped like 6 accounts. And then the next day we had a recruiting event. And then the next day I was dropping more accounts. And then it was like a training. And so we just figured out a way. It was chaotic, but there was a lot that went into that for sure to build what we have.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is like the background, the years. I mean, between both of us, we've recruited over 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy to overlook that, right? It's like the ability to build and expand an organization is not a skill set that people are just born with. You have to develop it over time. And the fact that you can only attract the level of person that you are. One training that you give often is the law of the lid, right?
John Maxwell.
Yeah. So I think it's important for people to understand it. I believe one of the reasons we're able to attract such high caliber people is you have to be a high caliber person, right? I'm a jujitsu guy. One thing for me when I started
you are?
jujitsu is my professor, right? He's a multiple time world champ, black belt for many, many, many years. So I have to know that there's somebody that I can learn something from. Having been a wrestler, 2-time All-American, I can handle myself pretty well against most people. When I saw that he had a pedigree and a depth of knowledge that I did not currently have, it gave me comfort in knowing that I could follow that kind of a leader. So when it comes to you, specific to the industry of solar, you are the best. And you're never going to say it about yourself. You're not braggadocious, but I know based on numbers, not opinions, you're the best in the industry. So the fact that somebody can join an organization like the Spartan Group, I mean, even today, you gave a leadership earlier for some of the organization. I'm sitting there like, man, this is gold, absolute gold. And people just partner with us and they get to learn from you. How important do you think it is to work with the right people?
That's everything. Like if we back up, like even me, I'm getting old now, 32. But I credit the majority of my success to one, my upbringing with my parents, great upbringing. And then at an early age, 18 years old, being introduced to my first like business mentor, shout out ET. Like that was a hack in life, having somebody that, at the time I thought he was old too, but he was like in his 30s. I think he was in his 30s. And being like the majority of my trainings today and skill set things are they're not original. They're things that I've learned. And so I feel like people who are successful, they did a good job at being around uncommon mentors, people that could accelerate their, like I've heard it best put that, hey, we're not gonna be the reason you're successful, but we're gonna be a reason on why you become successful quicker, because you're going to be successful regardless, but being around the right people help, accelerate that. They're a catalyst to it. And so I feel like TSG is so powerful because we do have world-class people. Like we were adding the experience charts, man, we have killers. Like I remember when we went to Florida to get our partners out there, like these guys have been in the space longer than us, 20 years in the energy space. And again, there was levels. We bring something to the table where we're not one-dimensional, where we know how to close and recruit and lead and influence. And so our group is so great. And then even like being partnered with our installer, the biggest in the world, it's nice because, like our division, 10,000 accounts last year. So somebody who does 100 accounts, that's great. But you come in and you realize, whoa, there's so much more that I can do because these guys are doing it. So I feel like, and we'll touch on it later here, but like beliefs are so big and people's belief gets stretched in a positive direction by being affiliated with our people.
1,000%. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like one thing for me in training, I know I have to have high level training partners for me to develop as a martial artist, because you can't develop if you don't have people who are going to push you. You either got to choose comfort or growth, right? You can't have both. And with our environment, it is constant growth. It's constant pushing the envelope to make sure people are leveling up. People upgrade their phones, but they don't upgrade themselves. And we talk about that in our meetings, in our leaderships, and we make it an emphasis to let people know you're not just going to benefit financially. Every area of your life is going to improve. So I know for myself in the time that I've been in the sales world, people are reluctant sometimes to get into sales, right? And what do you think is the biggest fear why people don't get into sales, given that you started at such a young age? You didn't come in with any baggage. You didn't come in with any kind of belief that sales wasn't a good thing. You didn't know what you didn't know. You just came in and you started crushing, to your point, following great mentorship. And I think one of the most important things that you're talking about too is coachability. You were coachable. You are coachable. How important is being coachable to being successful? Because you could give somebody the recipe, but if they don't do what's in the recipe, they're not going to get the end product, right? Yeah. So like that can't be overlooked. Like if you have a great coach, but you don't listen well, it's not going to work, right?
For sure. Well, two things. So two questions there. So the answer to the coachable part, man, I've talked about this before too. I feel like a huge advantage I had was at 18 years old when I was moldable and, excited to make money. My mom, who I trust, I know she has what's my best interest at heart, said, follow ET and you will be successful. So I had unwavering faith in my mentor instantly that it was truly, he says, jump, how high, how many times, got it, I'll do it no matter what. And I feel like that's so important. I just had a meeting the other day too where this leader was like, hey, I'm best as student. I operate best as student when I know my coach actually has my best interest at heart, and I can, you know, without caution, because there's a lot of snakes in this world that I'm finding out, you know, to punch up, you know, there's good people too, but there's some bad people. Yeah. But when you can have that dynamic where you have somebody that you know they want you to win, it's easy to be coachable to those people. So, you know, that was a good hack for me. And then your second question about why don't people get into sales? I feel like it's a few things. I feel like maybe one, there's a little bit of fear when somebody's comfortable at a job, guaranteed salary, you know, generational jobs. Like I've heard that growing up, like, hey, because my dad was, you know, this, I'm going to be that and whatever. So maybe the fear. And then the second thing is just maybe not being educated, knowing the opportunity in sales. Like, you know, that's what I didn't ever think I was going to be a salesperson when I was a kid. Like I wanted to be an architect. I don't know if you knew that. I thought I wanted to be an architect. Yeah. And then I got into sales and realized, wait a minute, I only wanted to be an architect because I thought that, you know, I might enjoy that and that'll make me money. And then I'm like, dude, sales, you make your own check. Yeah. You get paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to the world, and you're actually helping people. And I think a big misconception of sales is, you know, people, oh, a salesman. Well, if you're selling a good product that's actually helping people, there's honor in that. You're serving people, right? Yeah. And in our company, they talk about serve and elevate. You're serving people. We're out there and we're putting clients in a better position. And I feel like when you can sell a product like that you can fully believe in, and you sharpen your skill set, there's only positives that you can get out of sales, but people don't have that perspective or whatever. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think one of the things we're talking about that is important to me, as you know, for knowing me for so long, I don't want to work with people I don't want to work with. I don't want to work with people that we're not aligned with. I don't want to work with people who don't have integrity, because I feel like no dollar amount is worth having a relationship with the wrong people. And to credit the organization we currently are partnered with, you know, Brett, Josh, Brandon, these are stand-up guys. You know, I really do respect and appreciate them for who they are. And it feels good, that alignment that we have with them. But back to the sales point, man. You know, one thing that I was talking to my wife recently, and we're talking about my daughter. She's going to be going into high school. And I said, listen, I'm not going to be putting an emphasis on college, and explaining to her why. And it's crazy to me that people will go to college, right? And what does the average institution cost? Let's say they're paying 20 grand freshman year, 20 grand sophomore year.
That's conservative.
20 grand, $80,000. After year one, how much money do they make? Nothing. They're just in debt, and a debt that they can't get away from. They can't declare bankruptcy on student loan debt. Yeah. So they're $80,000 in debt, and everybody's like, oh, you're doing so great, Jason, good job, you got your diploma. And they don't even go into what they had studied, and they're 80 grand in debt. And then if somebody decides to try sales for a year, they are just like criticized, bashed.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you doing? I can't believe you're doing that. Even though they have no clue, if they were to dedicate the same amount of time to becoming a professional, imagine if people gave 4 years under your leadership. Could you imagine what would happen to that person versus them going to college, getting in debt? Here you're learning while you're earning. I feel like that's a shift that people have to have mentally, because they don't understand how amazing sales can be if they actually dedicated themselves to it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. By the way, you graduated, right?
I did, yeah.
That's important to note here. I could already see some people hating. Like, he didn't go to college.
Yeah.
Like,
Went to college, wrestled. Yeah, come get some.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm a loser. I dropped out. I dropped out of college, but I was in college, and I had that same. You know, there's sometimes I feel like college could be good. Hey, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a surgeon. Well, you need to learn those specific skills. But like in my case, and the majority of people's cases, mine was like, hey, my major was business because I wanted to build business. And I'm realizing, man, my professor is reading business out of a book. He doesn't own a business.
Yeah.
He doesn't make money.
Yeah.
Like my dad makes more money. He owns a business.
Same.
Being in a position to have the wisdom to put people on the right the correct step forward. Because I feel like, you know, there's a saying, confused people do nothing. And like, I feel like there's so much uncertainty with the future, you know, with the economy, government, everything. And that's another part of why TSG is so great. I've seen it. I'm sure you have, like within the industry right now. I've never seen, and again, we're new to the solar industry. We've been here 4 years. I've only heard, oh yeah, tax credits were potentially going away like 5-6 years ago, and then they're back. It's like this flip flop thing, and it gets all of the, I want to say, like, I'm gonna hurt people's feelings, but like the non-leaders, the quote unquote leaders, it only scares them because it's never scared me. And it goes to your quote of, what is it? When you're a big ship, you don't feel the little waves.
Yeah.
But when you're a little ship, you feel every little ripple.
100%.
These people freak out over it, and I'm proud to say our squad never has. Like, they've never been worried about anything because people follow people, and it's the leaders we have, and we know that we're abundant thinkers. We win in everything we do, so it doesn't matter what outside circumstance that we can't control. We're always going to win, and I also think that's why our group is so great, and it goes into like our background of what we did before. I know you wanted to touch on commodity. If you wanted to share that, like over a decade, what we did and like how we're being able to mitigate risk by having multiple revenue streams to like support our reps and do like things that other people aren't. And I know people who don't understand it, they're like, oh, like, you know, when people don't understand something, they're typically negative.
For sure.
But what we've been able to do is special in these uncertain times of, you know, what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's important to note right now we're in the middle of 2025, July, summertime. There's been some changes that have happened in the solar industry, and then people get uncertain, right? And when people get uncertain, they get fearful. And one thing we were always taught, a leader never shows fear, worry, or doubt. So for us, we all have always known, like Eric Thomas says, winners win, right? It doesn't matter what we do, we're going to win. So with solar being the way that it is, we're still doing incredible within the industry. But to insulate ourselves, I always tell people, like a table stands better on 4 legs versus 1. So of course, we're going to continue to push to be the best in the game of solar. But we're adding commodity where people can get gas and electricity, residential customers and commercial customers. So that will give them consistent income every week as the installs are happening in different timelines. So they have the upfront money and they have the install money. And we've already acquired in our previous endeavor tens of thousands of gas and electricity customers. Right. So we already have slayed that dragon. We're a black belt in commodity. We're black belts in solar. We're simply merging the two together to give our organization more stability. So when there is those turbulent times, you're not going to feel the waves. We're building out that ship, right? It's going to be a cruise liner. We know that if you're a part of TSG, you have nothing to be concerned about. You just got to get to work. You got to be coachable, and we're going to show you every step of how to be successful in whatever we do.
Yep, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, one of you reminded me talking about the beliefs and that. You haven't got to meet Alex yet, but he's one of my guys. He's legit. He's in Cali, but I'm going to steal his quote. He said, you know, a lot of people are talking about solar. He said, solar's not dead. Just your vision is, your belief is. And It's so true. Yep. It's so true. We see that. And that's why, like, the uncertainty, when teams are, you know, feeling that way, it's always pointed back at the leader.
100%.
Like the leader being uncertain. And then it's just like parenting, right? Yeah. Regardless of the situation that's at hand, you would never tell your kids, hey, I'm struggling to put food on the table. Yeah. You're a good parent and they don't know. You just go and you dominate. Yeah. Our team, like, I feel like the reason we're expanding, like, we've been recruiting more than ever. Yeah. And we've been getting top quality talent because our leadership, it's funny, you said the attributes in a different order than I know them, but yeah, leaders never show worry, doubt, fear, or frustration. Mm. I think that's embedded in us. We are always positive, abundant people, and I feel like that has such a huge impact on our team because you either have production or you have politics, yep. Right? Where you have people that are, you know, talking trash, yeah. And that doesn't need to be talking trash about a person necessarily, but it could be on the industry or on whatever, and it limits their growth. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like our numbers are going to be the biggest they've ever been right now through these times. And it goes back even to our previous industry when we were with our other company. I didn't know better. And so when my wife and I, when we came up in that company, years later, we were told, yeah, you guys were like the exception to the rule. Like, how'd you guys become so successful in the hardest time of company's history? And we're like, we didn't know. We didn't know. We were just positive and working. So I feel like it's the same thing right now. There's so many people on the way out. And I feel like maybe this podcast will reach out to some of these people that are on the fence, and it's not even their fault. They don't realize it. It's just their leader is on the way out, and we're here 10 toes down. We're dialed in. And I love that alignment. Like you mentioned some of the leaders we work with, like Freedom, same thing. They're committed to being here long term.
Yeah.
You have Solar Pros, they're committed to being here long term, and they have the biggest numbers out there. Alpha, our group, like committed, like they're crushing right now.
Yep.
It's so important to be around people like that. You become a product of your environment. And our group, like we've been intentional on always staying in those environments of positivity and growth and expansion. Like even last night where we were hanging out with one of your buddies, and it's like we're focused on masterminding, expansion, the future, always growth, right? Because you're either growing or dying. And we're always looking for that next level to get better. And our whole team does that too,
100%.
because that's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. I always love the saying that some people, they see the obstacles and the opportunity. Other people see the opportunity and the obstacles. And with us, we've never been more optimistic about the future than now. Even before we started this podcast, I told you, I was like, dude, I don't think I've ever been this excited in my life. I'll be 42 this month. The body of work that has been built, I know. But, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just leave it there. So the body of work that's been built over the last handful of decades and being aligned with the right people, you are the company that you keep. And I think people don't audit their circle enough. They don't realize they hang out with a lot of people who are holding them back and not elevating them up. And that's a big problem. And I think going into the future, whenever somebody looks at this video, this episode, they should audit their circle frequently. Because I think that they don't realize that if you're around the wrong people, you're not going to get to the right places, period. I know for a fact the fruit that's produced here because we prune our garden. If there's people that come in that shouldn't be a part of our environment, they're allowed out because we don't want to have the wrong kind of people here. We want to make sure that we attract the best by being the best, working on ourselves. We always say finish never is, right? We're never done. The best version of us is 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, because we're also leading our own families. We need them to have an example, somebody that they can emulate, and hopefully, God willing, one day crush anything that we've done, right? To stand on the shoulders of giants. Yeah. That's my goal for my family. And I know it's the same thing with you, man. And by doing that, we want to help a lot of other people as well. Because if you're a part of the team, you're a part of our family, right? And so one thing I want to talk about is just, listen, there's a learning curve, right? And I think people outside of sales or business, we just say sales, but we're business operators, right? Yep. They get intimidated because they don't want to look bad. Right? It's the same reason people don't want to go into a jiu-jitsu academy because they don't want to go in there, I'm going to get my butt kicked. I haven't done this in X amount of time. And there's just a learning curve to anything, right? And most people don't understand. Listen, step one, you're going to be unconsciously incompetent. You don't know that you suck, right? And then it's going to be you're consciously incompetent, like, damn, I suck. But you got to keep going, whatever it is. If you're learning a language, you're learning jiu-jitsu, you're learning a business, you're learning sales. And then eventually you get to you're consciously competent. Like you have to think about what you're doing, but you're competent in doing it. And then you reach a level of mastery when you have a sensei like yourself that is unconsciously competent. That stage of learning, how many times have you successfully not just done it yourself and things that you've learned, you've trained thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people how to be successful in their own lives. I think that's super important because some people, they can play the game, right? They're amazing at playing the game, but they can't coach the game the way that they play the game. You do both. So what do you think has been some of the keys to the success for TSG's organization's success?
One thing that reminds me of what you're talking about is the statement, time either promotes you or exposes you. I feel like a lot of people who act like on paper they're good, they get exposed when they can't train people. And maybe they weren't that good. Yeah. But when you're really good, it doesn't matter, right? Wherever Kobe Bryant goes, he's going to be great, right? Wherever Michael Jordan goes, he's going to be great. And he'll be able to coach those players because he brings value. Yeah. That's all I've done. Like, so first of all, the way I got good in solar was just through working. Like I tell people in our trainings a lot that when you don't close a deal, that there's two ways people go about it. A lot of times you'll hear reps, oh, that was a credit decline. Yeah, whatever. Or, oh, that guy was whack. He was super negative. And they miss their opportunity of growth. Could my tonality have been better? What could I have done better? And so I've always done that. So I don't lose, I only learn. And every interaction, how can I get better? And then going into the lap, we talk about that. Like, it's not just your pitch. It's recording it so you can listen after. How'd you speak? what words were you saying? Like, we're surgical. When I close, everything I say has a meaning. And when we build rapport, all of that, it's important. So I've studied that. And because I understand it fully, I can train it.
Yeah.
And so we're able to help people. And then it's not just training in theory, but it's like letting somebody watch me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, come into the home with me. Like, there's some great closers. And again, I tell people, if you're successful, it's because of you. And if you fail, it's because of you. But I'll just have a part in it. But I have had some guys come into homes with me, and they get to see the whole from A to Z. And that is learning through immersion. It's so much more powerful than a training that you do in an office. And so that's how we've been able to help people be world class. And then the best part about it, and we can dive into it here quickly, is beliefs. I feel like when people come into our space, we train them, but we also believe what we're training because it comes from real evidence and results.
Yep.
And then there's so many other people that are winning that a new person will come in here. And we talked about this beforehand too. Like, we create men and women. Like, we don't just take people from existing companies. We can take somebody with zero experience and they come into our culture and all they know is winning because they see everybody winning. But it goes back to beliefs. It's our beliefs. And again, my old mentor talked about beliefs are either, this belief cycle is either a blessing to your life or it's a curse. So there's four phases of this belief cycle. So just envision it with me. I know we don't have a whiteboard or anything, but you have your belief about something. It's either a limiting belief or an empowering belief. So we can talk in regards to solar here. Some people have a belief that solar is at its wit's end, that it's about to end. So they're not excited. They don't think it's a great opportunity. And so when they think of this industry, their excitement level is low. They don't have excitement. They have fear. They have a scarcity mindset. They're not fired up to go do this. So that emotion dictates their action or inaction. And so because they're not excited, they don't take much action, if any. And because of the limited action or no action, they get limited results or no results. Yeah. And that result solidifies that limiting belief of this industry is not great. So we could have a rep who's underperforming right now. And instead of looking at the reality of, I'm just not putting in the effort, I'm not working, there's other people crushing, they could say, oh, solar's hard. So they're not excited. So they take no action, no result, and they're gone. Those people are gone. Or on the same note, you have a new person who comes in, they get a utility bill, they're excited, they see the potential that they can make money, and they're hopeful. And so they're very excited. So they go take action, and they're positive, and they get a result. They get a utility bill, they get an appointment, they close a deal, they make a commission, and it solidifies the belief, hey, this industry is going to change my life. This is exciting. This is amazing. And now they're fired up, and that cycle benefits them. And we see this in everything. We see people who, we just did a training about it right now. Some people have a belief, hey, if you've ever heard money doesn't grow on trees, well, hey, money actually does grow on trees, by the way. Money is paper. Paper is from a tree. So money does grow on trees. And if you ask a billionaire if making money is easy, they're going to say yes. Yeah. Or if you ask your struggling uncle who lives with his parents, he's going to say making money's hard. And the economy and America sucks. And this is the worst time ever to go make money. And you're not going to amount to anything because that's his belief. And he's proven it. And that's his belief. And so it goes back to being in the right circle to look at your belief. And it's the belief dictates everything else. So when somebody doesn't take action, a lot of times they feel like, oh, I'm just lazy. What's wrong with me? Well, it's just your belief. You're not taking action because your belief is really low. So focusing on how can I be excited about now? And the last thing I'll say on this belief, I know I've been going on a rant here, is, and I mentioned this over the last few days, how are you treating your business and solar? Are you treating this like it's the end of your career? Or are you treating this like it's the beginning? Like you have so much more to do. You mentioned here in the beginning of the podcast, we're excited about the future, our vision, and we are excited and we are working. But a lot of people are seeing this like, hey, this is our last year. Let's make as much money as we can. We have 1 year left, 2 years left. And that excitement is gone because they feel like they're at the end. So there's no next level to go to. And humans, we need that. We need the progression. We need, hey, next level is this. And so they're missing that. They're lacking that. So the excitement is not there. And, if you treat this like it's the beginning, not only are you excited, but you're a student again. You're still learning. And the moment you think you know it all, this, like know-it-alls bug me. Like I still don't know it all. There's so much that I don't know. And George Zalke says, like, with all the wisdom in the world,
Yeah.
who is smart? Nobody's smart. We all have so much we don't know.
Yeah.
And so being new, acting new, childlike, like the Bible says,
Yeah.
helps us grow and helps us be excited. And so I think it's important that everybody treats this like it's 2025. We have decades left of crushing that, don't be a know-it-all. And the last thing I'll say is ignorance on fire is better than intelligence on ice.
100%.
We'd rather take somebody who doesn't know anything about our industries of what we sell and they're excited rather than the know-it-all, quote unquote, veteran who has an entitled mentality, who thinks he knows everything, but isn't excited. The new person's going to outsell him every day of the week.
100%. I think of any adult that has an ego. Ego stands for edging God out. Thinks they know it all. Know-it-alls don't grow at all, right? And I can't stand being around those type of people, man. It's like, I know for a fact, and I don't say this arrogantly, just factually, I've read more books than 99% of people in the world. But you're never going to hear me not ask a question. From people who learn what to do, some people learn what not to do. They're both your teachers. And I think one of the things that's always helped you and I is we've always kept on the mindset of being a student, being white belts in everything that we do. Like, oh, cool, I didn't know about that. Could you tell me about it? How does it work? And being coachable. Again, back to coachability. Like even coaching kids now in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, it's like I always stress the importance of guys, you got to be coachable. The coach is there for you to win. If people understand a structure like TSG, we only win when they win. If they don't win, we don't win. So why would we ever give them coaching that's not aligned with them winning? Because it's a win-win on both scenarios, right?
You eat, we eat.
Yeah, dude. And it's like one of the things that we've always embraced is be fruitful, right? Be successful in your own life. And it says it in the Bible, be fruitful and multiply. So we're all about multiplication. With our ability to recruit, we're going to have teams all across the country, even bigger than we have now. The crossover offer of having commodity as well in all commodity markets. We can also build sales organizations. We're going to be supporting all of these teams. We have national events that we do, these national trainings that are more invite-only, exclusive type of trainings that we have at least one coming up, possibly two before the end of the year.
Right.
We have vacations that people can earn by simply being a part of our organization, doing what they're supposed to do anyway, going out and winning financially for their family. And guess what? They get rewarded for it. So if you want to touch on that, because I know this is what's crazy. You see this young guy, I call him young because I'm older now.
Decade older.
He's traveled the world. Like one of my favorite things to do is like watch the clips that, Liz might post.
Oh, yeah.
When you guys go to Japan, you guys have been like in Egypt and all different. I mean, it's just such a cool life that you've built. And that's the biggest thing, man. I always tell my kids, you get what you earn. You get what you earn. You don't get what you deserve. You don't get what you think you're entitled to. You get what you earn. What did you do to deserve this reward? I tell my son this at 8 years old, my 10-year-old, my 14-year-old kid. Yep. Don't expect anything to come to you that you didn't earn. And if you take on that mindset, then you're on the offense to go out there and earn the life that you want. And you've built that. So could you talk a little bit about how just traveling the world and paying the price was worth it and how it's like shifted your entire, not just your outlook, but the outlook that your kids are seeing as they grow up?
Yeah, man, it's great. So my wife and I, we love traveling, of course. And we made it a point to bring our kids on the majority of our trips. Like some of our friends call us crazy. Like, oh, you're crazy taking your kids. My buddy Brandon, he's like, oh, dude, I'm not bringing my kids to this one. But we did, and we didn't regret it. It's building those memories, right? Like we try to make it a goal to take them, instead of Christmas presents, it's, hey, let's go have an experience. So like this year, our organization, like it's crazy. We have our sales leaders going to Cancun in November. I'm getting them all mixed up. January is Hawaii, November is Cancun, and December is Lake Tahoe. So 3 months in a row, 3 different vacations just for like producing. So those are exciting. And it's rewarding because, we do this job to make money, to provide for our family, but also have experiences, memories. Us as humans, like we want to have great experiences. So being able to have a good time with the people you love. And I feel like that's why our culture is so great too. We're able to do things like that with the people who, deserve it, that are out there working and putting in the time and paying their dues. It's been incredible. Other thing we forgot to mention, back to, I guess we can use a fighting term since you're a MMA here. We're not just strikers, right? We're not just wrestlers. Yeah. We're not just grapplers. We have the whole package.
100%.
And so I think that our group, not only are they overwhelmingly loyal, I don't know if that's their correct word, but like they're so loyal. I feel like they're loyal because they know we're loyal too.
Yeah.
We're not sellouts. Like
Yeah.
we help our team. Like on a moment's notice, I'm there. You know me.
100%.
I'll just fly out. Hey, somebody
Yeah.
needs support. I'm there.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're loyal because you get what you give,
Yeah.
and we're loyal. But I also feel like they're loyal because they see how we're just, it's cliche, but we're just built different.
Yeah.
Like we're talked about commodity because we've come from cut from a cloth where we sold commodity, but like also merchant services,
Yeah.
right? With what we have, which I know we're excited about. And we have Jeff supporting, helping run part of that too. It's just so sweet that we have our ecosystem where, it's not that we focus on it. I mean, people are out selling solar. That's our bread and butter. But we always run into a business owner and they might own a business and they could get commercial solar, commercial commodity, the merchant services. So being a broker in that aspect where we're plugged and we can give undeniable value in any situation is what TSG is. Because again, if somebody were to ask, what is TSG? We're a loyal, world-class sales organization / family / brotherhood. But we have those connects and then the vacations and all these things. It's just so special. I get fired up. I'm like, it's so crazy that it exists and we created it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been an unreal experience seeing it firsthand. And again, one thing that's important to distinguish is, I have to bring this up, the sacrifice that you've made, that Liz has made to building out TSG is second to none, right? And I think that it needs to be recognized that it took a Herculean effort to get the results that you acquired. Sacrifices had to be made on behalf of you, your wife, your beautiful family, now a family of 5.
Crazy to hear that.
And you know what? Even just in saying all that, man, I just want to say thank you. And I think a lot of people have to say thank you as well. And I think when you're as giving as you are, it's very easy for people to just assume that you are enjoying the process because you are.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to recognize people for what they do because they're doing it in service and they don't have to. One of the things when you're as successful as you are, if you sold as much as you didn't need to build an organization. You didn't need to take all these flights all over the country and open up all these different markets and train and develop other people. You could have been right at home having fun with your family and living an incredible life, but you have such a giving heart, a servant leader. And I think that's why, because of where you come from with your heart, you're going to be blessed the most abundantly with what you build out. So I just want to say thank you on that part, man. And then, what's cool when you're talking about belief, to kind of come back to it, I'm just thinking in my head, what kind of belief are your children going to have? Because they see what you've done, what you've created.
For a dude to get with my daughters.
There's this hilarious, I don't know if you see
the
it.
Dusty ass. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I do this for my daughter, so your dusty ass son can't.
Doesn't impress her with a trip to Florida, right? And dude, that's so true though. Like, I'm just speaking as parents, it's like, man, I want to have a high bar, for my daughters, for my son even. It's like, you're not going to just go with anybody. And I think it's so important that it starts in the home, right? So we're from the home, leading example for our family, and also outside of the home, you got to keep a high bar. We keep a high bar with TSG. It's not that everybody's welcome, but you have to make sure that you're respecting the culture. You're coming here for growth, no ego, and you want to work, then we're ready to work with you. We're ready to dominate the space. All the different industries that we're currently involved in, like Larry Raskin says, own the space you occupy. We have no interest in being second, third, fourth, or fifth. Our pursuit is to be the number one organization in the world. And that's all due respect to all the other organizations out there. Like iron sharpens iron, right? When you have another organization that's crushing, bro, that's inspiring to guys like us. We're not haters, right? I think it's so common in this world. Like, oh, I hate that. Seems like, dude, why would you hate somebody who's helping you level up, right? Like that's so important for us to talk about, because one thing I've been being around you for almost freaking 20 years now, you don't have a hating bone in your body. Anybody who wins at anything, you're always like, bro, that's awesome. You're giving them love. You're giving them support. I feel like that in itself, so many people can learn a lot from. And I just think that when people understand what this organization is built from and who's leading it, I think there's going to be zero hesitation for anybody to be a part of it.
Speaking of which, if you want to see what we're all about, you can go to our website, thespartangroup.io. I'm sure this podcast will have it in the description as well. But you can reach out to our team there, and we can connect for sure. Last thing I'll mention, since you brought up my family and like the sacrifice and the thank you, I appreciate that. My wife, she's a freaking gangster, dude. Like it's getting harder like as you mentioned, what happened when you have your kids getting older and they're really like missing you when you're leaving the house. Like it is tough, but like it's easy to do because my wife, Liz is just such a great mom. Like she's there, she'll take care of the kids, and then not even to mention the business side. Like I get the best of both worlds, and people see it and tell me like, "Oh, of course you invest in real estate because you have a Liz, you have your wife who handles all this. Oh, you have a tax strategist, you do this. Yeah, that's Liz. Oh, you have a website. Oh yeah, that's Liz. Oh, CRM's built. Oh, organization, that's Liz. So it's so sweet. I am blessed. I'm lucky to have that, and then obviously to lean on brothers like you to help, build our org. Like it takes a tribe to build what we have. But yeah, it gets harder now with the kids, but then it also makes it that much more impactful because there's real sacrifice. And like we go out and like, everything worthwhile in life, there's sacrifice. So we do it and our kids are watching and, I want to be the best. It's just different. I know talking with parenting, like having daughters, it melts your heart. You want to be a great example for them and love them so that they marry somebody like us. Yeah. And then with the son, it's just different. He's 2.5 weeks old right now. Yeah. And it's like, man, it makes me want to be like, kids are a blessing. It makes you want to be even better. Yeah. Because that's our legacy, right? Like that's our thing. I hear a lot of successful people and they're like, oh, my favorite thing is being a dad. Yeah. Right? Isn't that Dana White? Like he's like, I just want to be a great dad. Yeah. And like that comes from being a great leader.
100%. Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, we're super excited. This is the first episode of many that you're going to be seeing in the next handful of years. We're going to dominate every space that we're in. We're looking to expand with elite level leaders. And just to give you a few resources, you can go to Instagram. You can find us on there, Jason Tisdale, mine's Raul.operator. Reach out to us if you're serious about growing and being successful with our organization. We're more than ever excited about what's in front of us. Thank you. Take care and God bless.
Later, guys.